Hey everyone, this is Paul with 360 Stocks, and today I'm going to be talking about some charting, some technical analysis. It sounds very complicated, but really anybody can do this with the most basic chart of having a moving average of an 8 and a 20. I'm going to show you some information here, but before I do that, I want to make this disclaimer is that none of this is financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm doing this to share with some of my family members who might be interested in the stock market. So with that, I'm starting here with a chart of TQQQ. This is the ProShares Ultra QQQ amplified. And I'm zooming in here on the left side of the chart first. So this is a weekly chart. And you'll see that there is this red area over here that flips to green. And what does that mean? That means the 8, which was moving below the 20-week moving average, flipped right in here and the 8-week went above the 20-week moving average. So that is an interesting pattern that I'm studying here with this particular video. And then when that particular event happened, we see that this is the week starting on Monday, the 13th of March, 2023. And now we can go into more detail into the daily chart over here on the right. And right here we have the 13th of March, and we see the beginning of the week. This was down here in the red, but by the end of the week, it had turned this 8-day moving average to positive right in this area. So this is the area, the change from red here and red here, and then the weekly went green and the daily went green. And so I'm kind of looking at that, I'm zoomed in on that, and what I'd like to say is that when I start and I look at the bigger picture, the weekly, then I look for confirmation on the daily when I am getting kind of excited about an opportunity. And so this is an example of that scenario when the weekly flips to green, and it's also in combination with the daily flip to the green. And so this had an interesting run here, and then what happened was on the daily, it kind of went red right here a little bit, and then it flipped green here again, and it went up again on the daily. And here we are again in today's chart. This is now flipped red one more time on the daily, and this is still green. Now there's no guarantees that this is going to remain green, but this becomes an interesting area where we have a solid green here, and then we have this red area, which then could be for me, it may be an entry point. It's not financial advice, but I'm saying these opportunities when we go from red, it's hard to see it, but there's a little red right here, and then we have this red to green. That is a very interesting location of potential entries. Of course, we have to study the exit locations as well because it's not all about entries. Right now, we're looking at this solid green mass and the TQQQ. I'm going to queue up another example of what I'm seeing. Here is another example. We have RIOT platforms. This is related to cryptocurrency. They have blockchain mining operation. And so what is the chart here on RIOT platforms? Well, interesting. Here's this week of Monday, starting Monday, March 13th. And lo and behold, this chart looks a lot like the TQQQ. Amazingly, this flipped from, it was actually red here, and it was kind of a little green, turned red, went green again. This is the weekly chart on the left again. And then over here on the daily, we see this dip into the red, and then boom, it turns green, and it shoots up here from a price crossing into the green here from 6 all the way up to 13 in about 1 month's time. And then we had some choppiness right here. We saw some red on the daily over here. And then right here, it flipped to green again and had another run here from, call it 11 to 20.5. Okay, so that is this run, and we see that this area is red, and then it flips to green. And here we have the weekly on the left has been green this entire time, and now we're seeing that it jumped way above the 8-week moving average here, and now is pulling back into this zone, consolidating. This, if this trend continues, will be going into, this is going to dip down like this one into the red, and what will happen from there, who knows, but it is interesting because this is green, and then if this flips green again, that would be kind of a similar pattern to what happened here. We start with the weekly, and then we look for something that we're interested in terms of stock, and then we look more zoomed in here to the daily. This is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment. I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't invest in any of these securities or any other things. So let's go to one other. Okay, here we are looking at Tesla on the weekly. We see this is very red over here, and there's this brief moment in March that this was flirting with green. That's area on the daily looks like this before it fell one more time into the red. And then right in here, prices flipped from a red to a green. Candles are closing above that 8-week moving average, and it pulls the moving average up. So this is leading things out of this on a weekly. So the weekly is turned green by this candle, kind of in its transfer right here. So here we have the date of May 30th. So we go zoom over here to the daily chart on Tesla, and here we are in the daily, and we see by May 18th this is flipped to from red to green, and so this is a little bit earlier than the weekly chart that it flipped to green. If you wait for the weekly chart, you're out to this candle, the 30th, May 26th. May 30th is right here, and beginning Tuesday, May 30th is right here. So now this chart from May 30th went this way, and then it now has begun to pull back into the red, and we see that prices are falling here on the daily chart of Tesla. This area is still green, so there's no guarantee that this is going to stay green, of course. It's all the future, but if this flips back to green, that would be something that I would be interested in if I was passionate about Tesla and I said, gee, I really want to gain positions in Tesla. Then for myself trading, and this is not advice for anybody else, this is just a disclaimer, then I would look for entry opportunities when the daily flips to green and this area is green. So I'm just providing an example of what might apply. Okay, let's look at another example here. We are on Meta, formerly called Facebook, and we see this pattern in Meta that was red here towards the end of 2022, and then prices climbed above the 8 moving average here, and right here the 8 flipped above the 20 moving average. This was like the inflection point of that, and then prices have continued on up in the weekly chart here from this area. They were about 157, and now it's 312. So let's zoom in on the daily and see what that offered. So we're back here in the, we're going to start back here in the, here we are in November, and then December, it actually flipped green on the daily chart. And by the end of December, going into January, this was trending. This trend was actually moving higher rather than just a sideways chop. And so if we're back here to January 23rd, or maybe the last week of January, so if we go to the last week of January, we are in this area, and prices are popping here the first week of February. And so this has been this trend of the 8 and the 20. Now here prices dropped down all the way to, pulled back from 222 to 208, and then they moved higher, and here we have similarly prices just kind of staying above this weekly chart here on the weekly, the 8-week moving average and the 20-week moving average. Meta has been very strong here for the last 8 months, trending higher, and basically, going up. If you were to enter this, you'd be very happy right now. But obviously, this doesn't guarantee that this system works. It's just something that I'm observing, and it's a weekly trend and a daily trend. And so I'm personally starting to like this little bit longer time frame. It's been a little more rewarding for me, and I just wanted to share this video out. I had previously been looking at some of the 1-minute charts and the 5-minute charts, and it had been kind of a little more challenging than this has been for me. Let me do another chart. All right, I have a loved one who's a big fan of oil stocks, oil companies, and so this one is dedicated here. So here we are looking at the weekly chart of Chevron Corporation, and we see that we have red in the weekly here going back into this February and March. All these weeks are in fact red. And so when we have red and this flips green, we're kind of ignoring it on the daily because this is still red. So we're waiting for that elusive green area to begin to get excited about things. And so we have to ignore these green ones on the daily in this particular scenario, because they are, this is too short of a time frame for us. We're looking for a little bit longer of a time frame to kind of sit and look back. So, but I think we should look at this weekly because there are some interesting patterns here on Chevron. So let me go back to this era right here, which was rather interesting. Focusing in here in September of 2021, where we crossed here, the price was 103, and it went all the way up here to a high of 180. So that was a very nice maneuver. So now I'm zooming in on that a little bit more. So let me go back to what the price action was here. We had a green week period, and then we fell to a red week period here, a pullback, and then prices launched above the 820 right here, Monday, the 27th of September, 2021. So let's go back in time to that, and we are scrolling back here to September of 2021. Here we go backwards in time, and here we are on the daily. So now we're into a daily chart. And we see that right here on the daily, on Thursday, the 23rd of September, prices launched above the 820 on this daily chart. And right here, this started on Monday, the 27th. So this was too early. We weren't there yet. But right here on this week, which would have been Monday the 27th, we see prices have launched above here. And that candle corresponds with this candle and the turning of green. And by the end of the week, which would have been Friday, this had closed above here. So let's go ahead and take it all the way out to Friday. So we're out here at Friday, the 1st of October. And we see we have green solid here. And we have closed this candle green right here. The inflection point is in between these two. So you could take it another week possibly. And so this was the beginning of a green weekly trend right here that went up, okay? And then that also followed this green daily chart. So this is the shorter time frame, and we're looking for entries and our exits points on this shorter time frame. And then we're looking on our longer time frame for our guidance, and then we're picking something that we're passionate about, that we say we really feel like oil is the future. Oil is the I'm saying that with a little bit of laugh. Okay, so so that is the type of scenario that I'm interested in. And with Chevron, we saw that here. This turned red here, and then it turned green. So that could have been like a signal here in August. It wasn't a very long-lived signal. And if we scroll over here to August, we'll see that this flipped to green for a little while, and then it pulled back one more time before this turned green here in October of 2022. And here we are in October of 2022, and this is green, and it rides up. So that's the pattern that I've been looking at and been kind of excited about. I just wanted to put this video out to share that with my friends and family. Please don't invest on this. This is just entertainment purposes only. I'm not recommending any of these stocks, but I did want to share some things that are quite interesting to me. And with that, I'm going to sign off. So thanks. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.